Namaste, dear friends. My name is Kata van Doesselaar, and I'm delighted and happy to welcome you for this special Acu-yin yoga class. It's a class where we combine the benefits of acupressure using the ancient wisdom of the Chinese, where to locate points that are helpful, energizing, rebalancing, soothing, and also using the ancient wisdoms of yoga, right? The yin yoga poses, which we hold for longer time, 3 to 5 minutes, so we can access the deeper tissues and we can develop again great awareness, but also a flow of energy that is revitalizing our whole body. Especially, it's very important in the winter times to take care of our energy levels, since winter is a time when we want to preserve our energy. Just think about nature, how a lot of beings go into hibernation and they really kind of go into a state of almost dying to really reduce their activities to almost nothing, to put everything into a standby dormant state, so they don't use their energy, they preserve it, they wait until this cold and unnourishing time is over, and then they can start to live more expressively, more outwards again. While we human, we're not conditioned to do so, especially not in the comfortable Western world, where we have indeed the comfort of having shelter and warm houses and light even when it's dark outside, and heating when it's cold outside. So we learned how to unfollow the natural cycles. However, our bodies, our nervous system, they are programmed, they are created in this way that they need to have the stillness, they need to have a time to recharge, to do less, to preserve the energy during the winter time. So this practice we're going to do today is a practice for you to take in whenever you feel you need recalibration, you need to reset your system, you need to clear a vitality, to clear your inner rivers, right? Water is the element that keeps us alive, that kind of irrigates everything, all our cells, our brain, which is 85% of water. So that's one part. Whenever throughout the year you feel like you need to take care of your vitality, you feel depleted, you feel stressed out, or you feel maybe a lot of pain along your back, or headaches in the front and in the back, that would be a great moment to practice this sequence. Or indeed in winter time, when you feel you just need to take care of yourself, you need to get more quiet inside, let all the overstimulation that we have in this modern world fade away, so your brain can relax, your nervous system can soften, and your energies can just be reset and recharged. So we will work with what we call the kidney and the urinary bladder meridians. Kidneys obviously is double organs, it's at our back, underneath the lower ribs. Bladder, it's even lower. They are both helping us to balance the fluids in our body, to take care of the water, to move the water, and to move vitality, to give us enough energy for the day. And metaphysically, we can associate them to our ability to flow in life. Are we flowing with confidence, with trust? Are we holding back? Are we stuck somewhere? Are we scared to go on? Did we had some moments in our life when our flow was just freezing out of a shock or trauma, and so on? So these could be connected topics, stories, pictures connected to this could arise when we work with these two meridians. And then also important to know, kidneys and bladder, They also nourish our reproductive organs. They take care of our ability to sustain life also in that way. So a wonderful sequence for anyone who is stressed, who wants to calm their mind down, wants to level the fluids, wants to gain more vitality. Maybe you've been depleted or weak due to any type of disease lately. You want to regain strength, and you want to regain trust in life. You want to regain your ability to flow with the changes in life and not get afraid of everything. So welcome to this practice, and let's start by making ourselves comfortable. Please keep in mind that this element, the water element, we will work with through the kidneys and the bladder, are the ones that are cooling our body down. So if you are a lot of times cold, maybe it's good to dress up good, or at least have a blanket nearby. Enjoy. Let's take a little moment to get quiet in our mind, to draw our attention inwards. And just take a few breaths here just for yourself. Feel the fluidity of your breath as it comes in and as it flows out. The funny thing is that right now it's raining outside, so maybe you can hear this little gentle rain sound on the background. Very ideal for our water element. And we are inviting with every breath fresh vitality. We are connecting to the source of life through every breath that we take. And with every exhalation, you can release tired energy, used energy, and any stress and effort that kind of stresses you, scares you, puts you under pressure. And then let's slowly take our hands together and just wrap those hands together, creating a little warmth, a little energy there. And maybe you can even feel between the palms the sense of vibration that can help us to connect to that sensation of energetic experience, sensing the energies. And then from here, let's just bring our hands down onto our feet. We can open our feet, you can open your knees, coming into a butterfly kind of position. And first, just really stroke a little bit the foot soles. That's where kidney meridian starts, from the little pinky. Massage a little bit your foot soles, and then slowly take your hands along the inner legs, stroking that channel, kidney meridian, and then gently taking your hands to the kidneys, the actual kidneys underneath your lower ribs on both sides, right? And then from here, slowly take your hands back to the center, to the front. And this meridian is gently coming up in the center of the body, coming towards the breastbone, coming up on both sides of the breastbone, coming all the way up here, along the ribs, and finishing just underneath the last rib, towards the breastbone, somewhere here. We will activate that later. And there is also another line, you know, secondary branch that goes through the throat and goes into the root of the tongue. So inner leg, foot soles, inner leg, inner ankles coming up, inner leg. There is one branch that goes into the body and then goes into bladder and kidneys, and then another one that comes up here in the front and branches out here. Just have a moment. You can sit on your heels or still in the butterfly. And then we will also say hello to our bladder meridian, just for you to kind of be able to put these onto a map to understand what are we doing, where are we expecting sensations. So bladder meridian starts in the inner eyes. It's one of the longest meridians, 67 points. Inner eyes, right in the corner of your inner eyes, both sides. It's always both sides. And then slowly comes up to our eyebrows, where your eyebrows start. It's point here, and then coming even higher up to your hairline, then slightly coming out a centimeter to the side, and then going along the whole skull, up and then down, right on both sides, close to the center line, and then coming down along the neck, and then eventually coming down along the spine. Next to the spine, there's one line that is right next to the spine, another line which is a little bit further out. So they come down on both sides, kind of 4 lines you can imagine here. And then from here, going down, again here also there is a little extra, a few lines. There is one here at the hamstrings attachments, and then one that goes a bit more on the inner legs. And it's going to come down along the back of the legs, back of the knees. At some point it's going to come out to the side of the leg, coming out on the outer side of the ankle and ending the outside of the foot. So as you can see, it's like a full body length, a huge channel along the back side of the body, while the kidney is more inner legs and front side of the body. So let's just start with bringing our feet together into a butterfly position. We will combine poses that are good for kidney and bladder and add the points that are good. And then most probably you will feel an enhanced flow of energy. You will feel the effect of these 2 tools solidified and strengthened. So let's just find first the kidney one very important point. If you have the ball of the foot, and let's say you have your feet like that, you come between the big toe and the second toe, and you find this middle point between the 2 of them, and you descend the ball of the foot, and kind of here under the ball of the foot you should be able to find the kidney 1 point. How you find a point, most of the time it's sensitive. You are guided to find it, maybe very naturally you find it, maybe you need to kind of move around a little bit until you find that sensitive point. If a point is very sensitive, it certainly means it's good for you to work with it until it's not sensitive anymore. How can we work with a point? I would say like press it, massage it in a circle way, let's say for 2-3 minutes each time. You can even do it once or twice a day, but not overdoing either, right? We don't go to the acupuncturist every day. These are powerful practices. So find that kidney 1 point for a moment, and then we will also work with the kidney 3, 4, and 5, which are on the inner ankle. So find your ankle bone, and you can kind of circle a little bit around. And then let's say you want to bring the clock to, if I look from above, that would be like kind of 9 o'clock on this one and 3 o'clock on the other one. And then from there, take it back down to towards, what would that be, like 7 o'clock, right? So if you put a clock on the this round ankle bone, then this is kind of where we start, towards me, so towards the top of that thing, but more on the inside. Yeah, so again, finding those more sensitive points, and we will use these points for the butterfly. If you want, you can just keep circling gently, applying a gentle pressure with your thumbs around the inner ankle bone, like kind of in 180 degree coming from the bottom of it, and then back down towards the Achilles, and then towards the top of it. Or you can use one point, probably kidney 3, which is more towards the top edge, which I told you, like more like the 6 o'clock. If we put the ankle like this already in the butterfly. And once you have your point, you find those sensitive points there, let's just take a deep breath here. You can lengthen a little bit your spine and then slowly come a bit more forward. If this is too intense for your hips, you can by all means take your feet a little bit further away from you. And if your body allows you, maybe you can go a little bit with your upper body down. So you do feel a stretch along the back body, the hamstrings, maybe along your spine, as well as your inner legs. And just relax your shoulders and let your breath naturally flow. I love to invite the imagery of the water, whether if it's with a river or envisioning a sea or a big ocean that is waving very gently in a very soothing way. And connecting that waving sensation to our breath. So since these points are really connected to how we handle life, how we handle stress, do we have vitality, do we deal with exhaustion, with fatigue, lack of energy, we can just say that there's almost no risk in overdoing anything with this, because most of us in the Western world especially, we are bombarded by too many things. So our brain, our nervous system definitely needs to de-stress, needs to slow down, calm down. And with that we can regain our energy, our vitality. So if you've been pressing one point, maybe it was the kidney 3, like I said, around 6 o'clock. If your feet are like this and we're using the internal ankle bones, then it's pointing down. It's kind of towards the Achilles. But now you can also try to come a little bit more, I would say then it would be like 5 o'clock, right? So a bit more higher up, kind of getting a little bit higher up on that curve, that circle around the ankle bone. Find again that sensitive point and just gently press it And for the last few breaths, if you feel your body can go a little bit deeper into the forward fold, or your chin can come more into the chest so you get more stretch on the back body, please do that. And the very last breath here, nice long inhale. And then all the air out through your mouth. And from here, slowly we can come back up. You can again just slide your hand along the inner leg, taking your hands down behind you. Have a little windshield wipers. And then from here, we will continue with a pose that we call the deer. You can take your left shin bone in front of you, kind of like 90-degree angle, and take the other leg behind you. Later on, we might use these fascia balls. So if you have them, it's great to have them nearby. Not yet. So you kind of have like a zigzag with your legs. And what we will do here is we will do one thing on one leg, and then we will do some other thing on the other leg. Yeah, so you can use, let's say, the foot that is in front of you. You can now find this kidney one, which we said it was under the ball of the foot, sort of towards the center, a little bit more towards the big toe, right? It's quite sort of, you need to look for it. That's where it is. That sensitive point, that's going to be your kidney one. So you can press that. And then on the other leg, we will use a point which is called the Shen Mai. Very good point for insomnia. So for sleeping disorder, when our nervous system is too alert, the mind is going everywhere. Great one to calm us down. It's going to be on the external ankle. So you have again your ankle bone, but not just this heel one, but just really take the whole. If you kind of tuck it under, you will feel like this whole heel here. So we are going for actually the one really on the outside, the bladder 62. So find the one that sticks out and then go under and find where there is this secondary bone ending, and that's at the bottom. That's where you will find the bladder 62, right? So right under the bone that sticks out, about a finger underneath that one. Yeah, so that's the one that we're also gonna press. So on one foot find your kidney one, on the other foot find a 62, and then we can try to have like a gentle twist here. So you can twist towards the right. Find the right position for your head, your neck. Remember, it's also on our neck. So the position of your spine, neck, you should feel a gentle stretch there as well. And hopefully you feel something on the inner leg here in front of you. could even go deeper in there or stay up here. And if you don't feel enough here, you could try to kind of go around, but it's a bit more complex. Yeah, so then maybe going a little bit further out, and then you would feel more the twist, but less the point, so it's better to just stay here. And once you have your points, try to really just soften and breathe here and sense what's happening. Can you feel how there is a more all around energy flow that starts to move? Maybe you feel some emotions. Maybe just the quality that comes in. Working with these points can help with pain in the lower back, along the spine, even along the legs, the sciatica. Headaches, lack of energy, mental overactivity. And then from here you can slowly take, for the last few breaths, the hand from the front foot up to the inner knee, and right before it will go under the knee, on that where it splits, right in that corner, you should find also a sensitive point. It's also for the kidney, just a gentle pressure there. The kidney 10. And then let's slowly come back to the center. Take your hands behind you, have a little shuffle here. And let's do the other side. So this time take your right shin bone in front of you, take your left thigh behind. And on the front foot we find the kidney 1. Again, get under the ball of the foot. Try to find that sensitive point on the foot sole. Kind of underneath the second toe, in one line under the ball of the foot. And then behind again we go into the external ankle in one line, coming in one line with that part that peeks out, and about 1 finger below of that big bone that comes out, you will find under the second, more flat bone, the bladder 62, Shen Mai. Yeah. If it's too difficult to hold the kidney 1 here, you can also just put your finger on the kidney 10 at the splitness of the inner limb. And have a little twist also here. Find a position for your head, your neck. And maybe you start to feel that the energies in your neck, head area starts to flow better. Less tension in the shoulder, neck area. And you twist as much as you feel like. Doesn't need to be too deep. And once you have your position, just receive the breath and release the breath. And let's have the last 2 breaths here. And a long full exhale at the end. Slowly coming back to the center. You can again trace it back and just come into a little windshield wipers, leaning back. Maybe it feels nice to lift the chest a tiny bit. And we will continue with a caterpillar. You may want to use a block. And so in this one, we will try to press the inner corners of the eye. So it's really the inner corner. You can press it in and slightly up. And then to use also where the eyebrows start, and then also in one line with the eyebrows at the hairline. So these 3 points we will be using. And we will come into a forward fold, and that's where you may want to use a block. You want to find the depths with this caterpillar pose. You can open the feet a little wider, where you do feel a sense of stretch of the back body, and at the same time it's not too intense. Don't need to go super low, but you also want to be able to press on these points with your hands. So be mindful where you put your block. Closer to you, obviously it gives you a little bit more space in the back. If it's further away, it's going to stretch more your lower back area. So find the right distance, find the right height. Can be higher up as well. And let's start by bringing our thumbs onto the inside of the eyes. And try to tilt your chin in so you feel a stretch along the back of the neck, maybe even the back of the head, this whole area stretching. If you need to go deeper to feel the stretch, please do that. You can also put the two thumbs just under the inner eyes corner and then have the index pressing onto the hairline, for example. In one line with the eyebrows, 2 points on that hairline. And once you have these points, just let yourself breathe. These points are really good to clear up frontal headaches, to calm your mind, and also to clear your eyes. Try to keep the chin in. And breathing gently in and releasing the breath out, both through the nose. And maybe you start indeed with some blocks, and then afterwards, as your back body is releasing itself, you can go lower on the block, and eventually you won't need the block. So we're all the time trying to feel that nice stretch on the back of the body, including the back of the neck, skull, and then maybe at some point you shift from the inner corner to the eyebrows, where the eyebrows start, and then you maintain the index still on the hairline. Noticing your sensations. And then slowly relaxing your arms. If you need anything underneath your head, you can keep the block there. But give yourself also a bit of relaxation, releasing the points and just surrendering. Allowing the energies to flow. And noticing the sensations. And the last 2 breaths here. And the full exhale. And then really slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, rounding yourself up. You can keep the chin tucked under. And when we are back, if you want, you can roll the shoulders back a few times. And then from here, we can just come onto our bellies and just take a little rest. Have your balls nearby. And first, just have a little relaxation. You can turn your face into one side. Maybe it feels nice to wiggle a little bit. And then just observe the front side of the body, the back side of the body. Imagining that all our inner rivers, they're flowing now in a free, refreshing, crystal clear way. Just as the rain is now outside pouring down. Rain, which is nourishment for Mother Nature and the soil. So we will continue with a Sphinx, which we will then bring into a half frog later on. For now, you can just have your balls in your hands and just coming up into a gentle Sphinx. So it doesn't need to be super intense. You want to feel a whole front side stretching, and obviously the kidney area is getting a little compression. If this is too intense for your lower back, you can always put the block underneath your belly, be a little bit lifted, and from there it's less intense for the lower back. And let's just have a few breaths here. Observe how the front side of your chest, of your torso, is getting stretched, more open. And the back side of the body is getting more compressed. If your lower back is fine, you could even lift your feet up. To intensify a bit more the compression on the back side. So the last 3 breaths here. And then from here we're just going to take these balls and to place them on this area, right? So find your breastbone, which is in the center where the ribs meet, and then we're going to place the balls kind of in the upper part of the rib cage, right under the collarbones, kind of here on both sides. That's where the kidney meridian is coming to its end, with a few points there that are important, helping also with the lungs, releasing stress, anxiety. So we're just gonna put the balls here and then put our arms into a cactus arms and our leg into a half frog. And you could turn your face into one side or just leave it in the center. So let me show you that. We will have the balls here. Maybe it's a bit sensitive, that's okay. So it's above the breast. Yeah, so for women it will be above your breast. It's not in between your breast. It's not under, it's above. It's really this area below the collarbone and before your breast start. And then you can put your arms to the side. If you want, you could even just have the forehead landing. And then take one of your knee up to the side. And you can play a little bit. So you find the spot where the balls are not moving anymore. Ideally, this is like a little softer ball, so not too tight, not like a tennis ball that would be very intense, I bet. Or if you only have a tennis ball, maybe you put a little towel on top of it that could ease it. And just breathe here nicely. If you want to feel more on the inner leg, you can take the knee higher up and take the foot a bit more to the side, or even potentially just really stretch your leg out. And for the last few breaths here, you could just lift your head away from the floor to maybe feel a little bit more pressure on the balls. And just breathe there nice and deep. With that, you also massage all your tissues, especially in this area right now. And the very last breath, nice long inhale. And then all the air out through your mouth. And then from here, slowly slide down with your hands. Gently take your knee back to the center. And we can sway a little bit from side to side with the hips before we go to the other side. So right leg is down, the left knee can come up to your side, bend or straight. And again, you can just place your balls there. And taking the arms to the side. So right under the collarbone, maybe you move a little bit. Just exploring. Slow movement is always very, very slow movement. You could even have like kind of like cobra type of arms. If you want to intensify it a bit more. A lot can be stored in the pectoralis, so in our chest muscles, and also in the front, lungs, heart connections. So just very slow, nourishing breaths, and then you could put back the cactus arms and turn your face to the opposite side than before. Let the breath move through you like waves. And try to relax your shoulders, your arms even more. Last breath here. And the full exhale. And slowly taking these balls out. Gently put them away. And taking your knee down, maybe a little wiggle. And then just relax both arms and turn your face to the side that you want. Taking an inhale and with your exhale, completely releasing your body. And from here, slowly, gently, pressing yourself up, transitioning through a child's pose. It could be with knees together, closed, or knees open, just having a few breaths here. And then from here, slowly roll yourself up. And we will come down onto our back for the last pose, which will be a happy baby, and we will use the source point, the rebalancing point for the urinary bladder. So it's a point that you find on the side of the foot. Try to locate your pinky, that should be easy. And on the side of the foot, feel how there is this bone that comes all the way until there is a hole there. So that's exactly where we want to be, in that hole. When that bone ends, that comes from the pinky, and there's this tiny little hole, and you just want to be on the edge of between the white and the red, right before going under the foot. Right there, should feel sensitive. Yeah. So let's see if we can find this on both feet. Very good for urinary issues, but as I said, the bladder is really important, so we can release past emotions, traumas, and we can flow with confidence in life. And we can surrender to changes, and we understand that changes are organically part of life, and we trust that. So let's slowly roll down onto our back. And so you could find that spot on the outside of the foot. If that's far away, you can also just close back the feet like it would be butterfly. You could have the tub from the inside and maybe your middle finger pressing on that point on the outside. Or maybe even coming from within, right? From the inside, and then finding this point of the bone where it ends. If for whatever reason this is too intense for you to reach for the point, you could also end your practice with a supported shoulder stand or legs up the wall and not holding onto any points. Right, so just having the legs up, maybe a block underneath the sacrum, or maybe your legs against the wall could be also a nice option. If you want, you can play with straightening maybe one leg more, the other one stays bent. breathing gently but deeply down to your center. Every inhale brings that fresh river into your system. Helps to clear, purify the body, the mind. Every exhale helps to let go and soften more. So last 2 breaths here. If you want, you can even release your points and just hug your thighs from underneath, relaxing the shoulders a bit more. And then slowly releasing our legs, taking them up to the sky, shaking them out, shaking our arms. Slowly hugging the knees in and massaging a little bit, our lower back swaying from side to side. And then gently dropping the legs down, the arms down, finding a nice position for you to rest, to surrender, and to let all the energies, all our inner rivers, energies and energy channels to find their balance, their optimum flow, an abundant flow of vitality. The waves of the breath are the only thing moving, but it's happening without any effort. Deeply listening inside to what is arising. And then slowly, gently, you can start to move a little bit your toes, your fingers. And gently you can take your knees up to the chest. And as you take the knees up to the chest, you can sway a little bit from side to side, massaging that lower back area. And then slowly roll onto your side. And whenever you are ready, you can gently come up into a nice sitting position. And just taking a moment to feel the sense what changed for you. How do you feel now? Where did this practice take you? And then slowly taking the hands in front of our heart. And let's finish this practice with a gentle together. So taking a long inhale into our heart. And slowly you can open your eyes and sense and feel the ground underneath your body, sense your breath, sense your inner space. Hopefully you feel calmer, softer and more energized. However, just for you to know, it can happen that a practice like this will first bring to the surface some layers of fatigue and exhaustion. So you might feel at times more exhausted first, and then later on in a few hours you will be maybe surprised on how the energy is just shifting, changing. Your body just kind of clears it all up and replenishes you with fresh vitality. So I hope you enjoyed the practice. I hope you feel great now. Sometimes it can also enhance our ability to become aware of the busyness of our mind. So if you had a lot of thoughts, please be comforted that it's not unique. Maybe you just hear them more because the kidneys and the water element is also about listening. So we hear more, we're more sensitive to sounds, to noises. But then hopefully by the end of the practice, the mind, the brain waves were also calming down and getting more quiet. So thank you so much for joining this practice. I hope it contributes to your health, to your well-being, to your joy and your presence. And if you feel like leaving a little feedback underneath the video, please feel free to do so. We're always happy to hear from you. And also you can check out our offerings, our trainings, immersions. I do offer our Acu-yin yoga teacher training that I created based on acupressure and yin yoga and a whole curriculum on how to work with each element on the mental, emotional, physical health, and how to offer this for others to create a better balance in life. So feel free to check that out on our website, Rise and Shine Yoga Ibiza. Thank you so much, and looking forward to practicing with you more. Namaste.